Morning. Welcome to this week's weekly challenge. We're doing something a little different, something special this morning. We got JD, Kevin, Sophia, myself, and we want to have a conversation this morning. Man, JD, you started a conversation last week that I just think is way too important to move past. You kind of sparked some interest and some thought around really what the world needs most right now, which I just believe if we see the Bible as our roadmap, what the world needs most is kindness and encouragement and loving each other and accepting each other and, don't judge a book by its cover. So remind us a little bit about that, JD, to kick us off, and then let's talk about it.
Yeah, 100%. Don't judge a book by its cover. I think that applies to people so much because, books have so much purpose. Books, carry so much gold within them. You carry a story within them. It's just the same for a person. The person carries a story within them. But if we could understand God is the author of every single person that we know, every single person around us, then we would see them differently, because it's not about who's better, who's worse, or who's more entitled, or who's more privileged, whatever. It wouldn't be any of that. It would be hey, you're God's child, and He intended you to have a specific destiny, a specific story. So I want to value that because I'm in the same boat, that I have a story, I have a destiny, and I want to be valued. And obviously, we mess up as people, we're imperfect, but God values every single one of us the same, because He doesn't see color in terms of oh yeah, this person's this person's that. He's these are my people. These are I'm creative. God, I think God's sitting in heaven, going, what's wrong with the world? I'm a creative. This is my art.
Yeah.
This is my color. This is my palette. What do you why is this negative? Why is this being treated differently? Why, and so I just think we need to be a little bit more simple, and I think that's something we're missing, seeing each other how God sees us and how God intended us.
I think a big part of that is knowing who you are, because like you said, when you can recognize your identity and say, okay, I'm a child of God, obviously that'll carry over. And I feel a lot of people now, especially young people, they're bold, they're going out and doing things, but it's where is the heart at? A lot of things now, it's out of emotion or out of anger instead of out of knowing who you are, right?
Yeah.
And defending people because you know who you are, and then in turn who they are.
Yeah, and PGD's been saying, how we celebrate our differences,
right,
and we celebrate our diversity. I mean, that's who we are as a church. We've always been that. That's what the kingdom of God is. I mean, when we get to heaven, there's going to be the diversity of everyone that God created. And so we as a church, as a community, I think we understand that really powerfully, and we celebrate diversity. But how can we spread the celebration of that diversity? Obviously starts with, you're saying, us celebrating ourselves, celebrating my diversity, I'm different. And then that feeds into not comparing ourselves and, compare, despair, but we celebrate ourselves. And then I think out of celebrating ourselves, we can celebrate each other.
Yeah.
Right? And encourage each other, and champion each other.
I even feel sometimes it's easy to judge. Back in the day in high school, man, I had these friends, not the greatest guys. There's this one kid on the bus, his name was Mike. Bro, Mike did not get it easy.
And we love you, Mike.
Yeah, shout out to Mike. I don't know where he at right now. But on the bus, bro, he dressed a little funny. He had a polo, cargo shorts. Shout out to whoever wears that. No judgment, no condemning or anything, but it is pretty fire. But it's these guys are just hassling him, heckling him. One day we get off at the same stop. One day I got off with him and I just started chatting with him, learning more about him. It's kind of crazy. This kid normal life, he had a family, all this stuff that happens with him. It's crazy. We were just messing with him just because how he dressed and stuff. It's wild. They're people, bro, people.
Guarantee you that kid, you taking time to talk to him, to encourage him, to hear him out, that will stick with him for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
When you get built up, when you get encouraged, when you have someone go out of their way, that is maybe outside of your circle of influence or your circle of friends, or they're not in your clique or in your crew, but you get what we did last week, what you started to do, encouraging people, say something about someone, shout someone out on Instagram, throwing that love out there, that kindness, that measure of what we can do nowadays with technology, what Jesus would do if he was on the planet. He'd be hitting people up, man. He'd be DMing people. He might be stuck at home due to Corona, but he'd be praying for people, DM. He'd be, posting about people, encouraging people. Everywhere Jesus went, he was moved with compassion and healed the multitude. And so I think, as a generation, we've got to stir this up and get this going, to be moved with compassion. Yeah. Compassion is going to heal everything that's going on in our nation, our country, around the world. It's compassion. It's Romans 2:4, right? That it's the loving kindness of God that leads people to repentance. Not, hey, I got my Bible, I'll beat you over the head with it. You sit there, read your word, pray. No, it's kindness.
Yeah.
And I feel like me personally, when I was younger, I was just quiet all the time. I didn't like to speak to anybody.
Just when you were younger?
No, okay, I've gotten better. I've gotten better. But just when it comes to reaching out to people and putting myself out there and just going after one, I feel like I was so scared of what people would think, and I feel like that's obviously the thing a lot of teenagers go through. When you do take that step, when you plant that seed, God's going to water it and he's going to reward you as well. So if you look at it in that way, it's if you take the time to get to know someone and you take the time to just say hi or just smile at someone, it's that makes a huge difference. And it's showing that the true love of Jesus. You don't have, like you said, you don't have to go out there and yell at them or beat them with the Bible or whatever. It's just planting that seed makes such a big difference in people's life. And I noticed over the past year, just when I do go out of my way to do things and just sow into people's lives, God rewards you and he sees your heart, and it's it builds you up as well.
Yeah, I kind of had a thought based off what you're saying. And do you guys ever get shower thoughts? You're in the shower.
I get shower songs for sure.
Shower songs. A lot of times I get really sick ideas or just have these cool thoughts when I'm in the shower and just just doing my hair or whatever. This morning I had this thought that when you're looking for your phone and you're where is it, you're checking you're under your mattress or under the bed or whatever, and in your pockets of jeans that are lying around in your room or whatever, you're looking for it, but then it's either in your hand or in your back pocket, and you just didn't know and you didn't think to check the most obvious place or whatever. So this is going somewhere, and so stay with me. But I had this thought that's the worst or whatever. It's so interesting how it's just usually right there in front of you, you don't see it, whatever. That's how I feel with encouragement or kindness or compassion. God's given it to us. So using what's in your hand, if we get a little bit deep, with what's going on in the world and different perspectives and voices saying hey, we're the answer, it's everybody. Everybody's, everybody's part of society. If society is wrong, then that means we're wrong, whatever. And that can be very overwhelming and daunting and can feel what am I supposed to do about it? How can I help with the problem? But sometimes it's just in our hand, whatever's in our hand, it's already there. God's already given it to us. We have what we need. We can just use what we have. But someone just being kind to someone, it's what's been given to you is it's in your hand. You can give to someone else, you can use to encourage someone else. You may not be able to solve the world's problems, but that's why I was so passionate about just encouraging people on our socials the other day, because it's easy. It's literally Instagram's in our hand and we can use it by just posting a photo of our friend and just loving on them and making someone else's day, because that ultimately encourages you as a person. So
what I like about that is PhD's been teaching us all that for forever.
Yeah.
About the miracle of the widow. She has this massive need. She's dying, got nothing left, need a miracle, and the prophet says to her, what's in your house? And so you parlay that to what you're talking about, Judy. It's we need a miracle. Our nation needs a miracle. Our nation needs healing. Our nation is at that point of there's massive need in so many areas. Race, financially, economically, socially, politically, and we're looking all over the place for an answer. But I feel like that shower thought you had, it's in the Word. What's in your house? What is it that's in our control? We can't control politics. We can't control social, economic situations that are going on. But what each and every one of us can control, what every teenager with Champion Youth, what you have that you can control in your hand is how you treat people,
Right.
how you love people, how you care for people, how you champion people,
Yeah.
how you encourage people,
Yeah.
and just showing God's love through your words, your actions, your kindness.
Yeah.
What I like about that is like there's different ways. There's a small step, yeah. But there's different small steps we can take. We're also unique. Like Sophia is like good with words. Like she's really good at encouraging people. So are you. But like I remember this one time I was at Wendy's after work. It wasn't here.
Love your stories.
I'm good with stories. Like good examples. I was at Wendy's after work. It was like my lunch break. I went to Wendy's and there's like just two kids outside of Wendy's. Like, yo, I'm hungry. I'm like, oh, cool. I got you. Like, let's come in and let's eat. So I got them like the biggie bag or whatever was out there. They had like $5 for each of them. I was like, I'm not good with like talking to strangers, but I was like, I'm good with like my people stuff. I'll buy you guys some food. Come on. And then I left like, alright, like take care, boys. I went to my car, and at that time, I think we were having like Valentine's Day or like some event in youth. I wrote something down on it. I put my number on it. I was like, hey guys, like, here, take this. I'm like part of this youth group. Like, come out. It'll be cool. Like, and then they came that night. And it was awesome. They texted me like, bro, it's like a great time. It's like, so glad you're there. It's just like we're all unique. Like we all have our different like specialties. It's like it's not talking. It's like maybe a hug, like a good hugger or whatever. But it's just cool.
Right.
You know,
Maybe
having
you're
a thing.
maybe you're too shy to like just go with words like straight up, but you can at least bless somebody. There's so many various ways to bless somebody and just be a blessing, you know, being like Jesus. And I feel like that's what you were doing. You were like, I got you. I'm gonna feed the multitude. I'm gonna feed the multitude right now. Drop some piggy bags. But no, that's your way of being a blessing, and that made a mark. Like you didn't have to say like, guys, you need to come to church because otherwise your lives are gonna fall apart, and you need to stop judging people. You need to stop making mistakes. You just blessed them, and then they were able to come to church, and that seed was sown into them. And who knows where they're at right now? Like, and what's been watering that seed, and what's been like leading them to Jesus closer and closer.
Yeah, it's love in action.
Yeah.
And it's, hey, we used to sing the song Love Riot. You know, like the real riots we need right now, some Love Riot. Let's jam out to that real quick. But like we need to have these rallies of love and kindness and compassion. It's so cool to have this conversation keep going that you started, JD. And I think the conversation's got to continue.
Yeah.
And I think even more than the conversation continuing, last week you gave us a challenge to post, to champion people, to DM people, to text people. I think that is something, hey, that's the challenge this week again, because it's not a one-time, oh, I did it, check it off the box, I encouraged someone, now I'm going to heaven. But no, like this is how we should be living every day, every week. Champion someone, show kindness, buy someone something. Like it will go so far. If we champion people or champion youth, we believe we're supposed to champion each other.